approach her and you're face-to-face with her? Do you say something specifically? Do you just grab her hand and lead her to the dance floor and say nothing? What's the next step of that particular game?
For me, I would say nothing and grab her hand and lead her to the floor. And in all the time I've been dancing, I've only had one female say something to me, and she said, "You're kind of aggressive, ain't you?" But she still came. So, so I would just grab her hand and take her to the floor. The way in the pimp game, they say the way you start is the way you finish. If you start as a leader, you'll finish like a leader. If you start as a chump, going over there trying to put her on a pedestal, you're going to finish like a chump. You're going to get a chump's entire whole scenario played out for you.
Another question for you. Does how the girl looks matter in the way she plays game? Well, a really, really hot-looking girl, maybe a girl who could, in my philosophy, a girl who makes a living off her looks, does she need to be played much harder with much more dominance than an average-looking girl who's dressed up for a club?
I'm glad you asked that. Years ago, I learned from another gentleman in the field that there are three types of females out there, which is pretty true. If you listen to hip-hop music, they'll talk about three types of girls. There are good girls, there are girls who are called freaks, and there are girls who are called hoes. Now, the good girls are those nice, quiet, demure ones that, the nice girls out there. And the second type are the freaks. Now, the freaks are the ones that when you go to the clubs, you always see them grinding on each other and trying to get guys to look at them. These are the type of girls that need male energy, and they need constant influxes of men. They usually have a couple of guys they're seeing, and they're the kind of guys that, or kind of girls that will break a guy's heart in a second. These are the girls where guys call them, and they don't answer the phone because they're with someone else. Then the third type is you have the hoes, and those are the girls who are looking for guys with good jobs, who have potential. They look for a guy with potential that they can latch onto and marry. You've seen them as trophy wives. They start in high school as cheerleaders. They trade their bodies with the jocks out there for sex, so they get social status from it. Now, each one you have to approach it differently. The freak, you got to come on strong and hard, and you got to be cool also at the same time. The hoe, all you got to do is talk about your potential, what you're doing here in your company, you're going there, you plan to do this, and her eyes will light up. The good girls, they're the ones you approach just nicely and softly. You come over, you go over, you ask her name, and you ask her to dance. You're more of a gentleman.
When you're looking into the eyes of a nice girl, let's say you're making eye contact with a nice girl, what if she's so nice that she doesn't hold the look for 3 seconds, she's maybe too shy, she doesn't make eye contact at all, or is this a stupid question that she, even if she's a nice girl, she'll still maintain the eye contact if she's interested?
Not so, because even nice girls can be so shy that they'll glance and look down, glance and look down. That's why in the pimp game they say you want to study the girl. Not creep her out, but study her. So you caught her and glance at you for a second, so you want to just observe her for a few minutes. If she looks back within a minute, she's interested.
And that's how you know to proceed.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to your website. You have something there called the Players University Forum. What's that all about?
That's the forum that I created for all the guys that were listening to my podcast show. I've got guys all over the world now to come and actually talk to me and read some of my old posts from different sites that I've been on. I've been on a lot of the seduction forums out there. I've kicked off some of them because of my ideology on how a man should be. And
I'll say, okay, I have to ask this now. What specifically about your ideology is getting you banned from all these forums?
Right. I believe a man should be the leader at all times. Because I believe in the energy of man. I believe that men, we're a positive energy. And a lot of girls will criticize me for this. A lot of your listeners, female listeners, will criticize me for this. But men, we're the ones who created this world. We created, as James Brown said, the planes, the trains, and the automobile. This is our world. And we're the architects of this world. And for some reason, since the 60s, man has had his balls, practically scraped out of him. So I believe in man coming back to his original power as a man and dominance as a man and leading women in all times.
You see, it surprises me that you got kicked off of some of these forums for that attitude, because so much of what the community preaches and teaches talks about how men have been emasculated.
Right.
And what we're doing right now is that we are reclaiming our masculinity by learning how to be dominant again, by learning how to take the lead again. So what is it specifically that you got banned for? I mean, was it women who are running these sites that banned you?
No. One particular site, I call it SoSimp. Simp is a word for ESC. I got into arguments with the guys over there, and I'm like an alpha male type. I don't back down. You push me, I'm going to push back. And, I tell them, you push me, I'm going to push back. So I got into constant arguments with guys who are so deep into the matrix they can't even open their eyes and see the forest for the trees there. Guys that have been so conditioned by society that they cannot accept that the way I'm preaching things is even possible for them. So it was constant arguments with that, and me constantly saying you guys need to be men that got me banned.
You know what? I want to really touch up on this idea about how when a person is going through their development, but we got to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're talking to Player Supreme. When a man develops into a seducer, some of the sacrifices he's going to have to make. Here on Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the Adult Male Virgin Seminars and Telephone Consultations. If you are an adult and want to get a handle on this once and for all, you need this seminar. Being an adult male virgin can be most stigmatizing in today's society. You feel like a failure in the eyes of the mass culture around you, alienated from your male friends who all talk about their sexual conquests, and you must hide this shameful secret lest they use it against you. And the very personal pain, anguish, and despair that cannot be described by words that haunts you every moment of your life. Enough is enough. It is time for male virgins to take charge of their sex lives. Frank gives you the rules of winning in this seminar. The Adult Male Virgin Seminars and Telephone Consultations. Make your first time the best time of her life. Only available at franktalks.com. Frank helps adult boys turn into men. Frank Talks is sponsored in part by Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to the emotional needs of women. What would your life be like if you knew exactly what to say and do with women? Learn how to handle women's tests by addressing her emotional needs. By this, you create the type of attraction that will make her see you as the one. This book is a guide for men to understand exactly what a woman means when she speaks. Is that worth changing your life forever? Buy this book at franktalks.com now.
You want to learn new things? Want to meet new people? Want to discover real possibilities? Listen to Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles, in making the world a better place. Be sure to visit our website at www.franktalks.com for the most up-to-date information and the latest downloads of programs just like the one you are listening to now.
You're listening to Frank Talks, Pleasures and Lifestyles, and I'm Frank because I have to be. In studio today, we have the man known as Player Supreme. He runs the website, www.theplayersupremeshow.com. In the last interview segment, we were talking about how when an instructor, a guru, somebody who knows the game, starts to talk about what the belief systems are, and how the people around him might not always be ready to accept new ideas. In my own case, when I was developing from a loser to a seducer, that's the title of my autobiography, I had lost a lot of friends because I started doing new behaviors, actually getting some successes, getting phone numbers, getting girlfriends. And the people around me didn't like the fact that I was changing, and so I lost quite a few friends because of the changes that I was making. You had said that on some forums you were saying things that have worked for you, what you believe to be true, and guys just refuse to accept that. In your position, what are some of the sacrifices you have had to make in order to live the player lifestyle?
Okay, first